Hello everyone, this is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, the scientific healer, and you're listening to another episode of Raise Your Frequency. And what I'm going to talk about today is successful relationships. And as I was thinking about this, I am opening up a brand new relationship healing program. And I was thinking about this, like what is missing out of that program? And that is talking about core value. So what a core value is something that has got to do with the way that you behave or think or feel or are emotional about certain ways, interactions with people, interactions with your environment, how you feel about yourself, and those things. And it could be something like integrity, trust, respect, kindness, love. It could be all of those things. But there are some really what I think are super duper essential in successful relationships. Now, I'll give you an example. So before I met and married my now husband, I went through a period of about 20 years of dating. I stopped a couple of times along the way and dated a couple of other people, but I got divorced in 1994. And then I stayed kind of, on my own and dating and even living with people. And then until 2013, the end of 2013. So that was a long stretch, but in between, of course, I did a lot of internet dating back before the internet. When I lived in Germany, it was newspapers. You put in a contact ad in a newspaper, and there were 3 newspapers that were really good for doing that. And so I met a lot of different people, and it was always really interesting to see what people will write in those things. And, women are famous for lying about their age. So you would be kind of surprised to learn that a lot of men lie about their age. And back, it must be 7, 8 years ago now, I was on Match.com, and I met a gentleman, and he claimed he was 62 and I was 57. And I thought, well, 5 years, it's not too bad. That's the same age as my ex. And then it turned out that he was actually 67. And then I started to think like, oh, that's an interesting lie. So you start a relationship on a lie. So now you ask yourself the question, how many other things is that person going to lie about? Like, what is it about? And he claimed that was the only thing. And I said, well, then how can I trust you if I can't believe anything you're telling me? So that's number one, is trust, right? So if you start a relationship right away without trusting someone, then how can that thing even grow? And of course, within about 2 or 3 weeks of, I gave him a chance. I'm a big softie. I gave him a chance, and but I just couldn't get past the fact that he told me he was 5 years younger. And you know what his excuse was? Well, I look and feel, and I behave like a much younger man. And I'm going, well, I look and feel and behave like a much younger woman. So now where are we? So, he wanted a young woman. So why didn't he just say he's that old, but he's looking for somebody that much younger? And because there are women, and there are also men that will welcome somebody who is of that particular age. So, for example, totally blew me away. I was completely honest about my age, who I am, what I do. My pictures were all recent. They weren't stuff from 20 years ago. and so I got people that were in their 20s and 30s. Okay, I'm in my 50s. I got people in their 20s and 30s, young men who were looking for an older woman. And I was kind of like really surprised. And they were serious. They were really interested in a long-term relationship. And then there are also women who like much older men. So why would you want to lie right at the get-go so you can't ever trust that person? So trust is number one. So what is trust? It's the ability that you have when you're with someone that you feel absolutely safe. And one of those things that happened when I first started dating Noel, my husband, when I first started dating Noel, was I trusted him immediately. It was like I didn't need time. I knew immediately. It was just, he is the most honorable person that you could ever imagine. He always tells the truth. He blurts out what he says, what he thinks, and what he feels. He blurts it out. He's like completely honest and honorable. And one of the first things I said to him is, I don't know what it is about you, but I trust you completely. And I've never said that to anybody before because I grew up in a difficult environment. So trust is a very difficult thing for me to feel. So I completely, and I still, after more than 5 years of being married to him, I still completely trust him, right? So that's a very unusual thing to feel, but you should feel it right away. And yeah, I feel completely safe around him. I can trust him. I can tell him anything. I can tell him any of my deep, dark secrets from the past. And I just feel completely safe being that open with him. And that's not that many people that I do that with. I'm getting better as I get older because it's mattering less and less and less because I am who I am, right? But when you feel completely safe with someone, you are trusting them. So that's one that I think is absolutely 100% essential. You cannot have a relationship in which you don't trust them. So if you are in a relationship with a person that you don't trust, how do you feel every day? Every day you are off balance because you never know what that other person's going to do, right? Are they going to come home drunk? Are they going to come home on drugs? Are they going to come home and be abusive? Now, the other one that I think, and I think these two are, for me, you might have different ones, but for me are the top most essential ones, right? And I can't love, so those two have to come first before I can love someone, right? So if I can't trust them, and if I can't feel respected by them, right? It's like I automatically respect people. That's just built into me. That's just part of my makeup. But what I want is them to also respect me. So if I don't feel respected, then I will also feel like, I've got to set up, it's almost like feeling adversarial all the time, right? So you've got this boundary or border that you really have to protect yourself and not feel like you're being invaded, your boundaries are being invaded, right? So you don't want to feel like every time you come together that if they say, oh, do you feel like going for a walk with me? And you say, no, I'm really tired, that the other person doesn't go, oh, come on. Are you sure you don't want to walk with me? I mean, you've been cooped up all day. I mean, I've gotten that kind of stuff. I'm going like, I just said no. So when I was in a self-help group, one of the things that, this was all in German, so it's very cute because in my head all I hear is ein Ja ist ein Ja und ein Nein ist ein Nein, which means a yes is a yes and a no is a no. And it was one of my friends that would always say that. But that's one of those things of respecting you and respecting your boundaries, right? You are, you say yes or no to something like, I don't like that. And then don't ask you, why don't you like it? You don't have to justify or explain away anything. If you don't like something, you don't like something. Like, I don't like that picture. Why don't you like that picture? I just don't. It's ugly, right? How can you tell someone that you don't like something? So these are a couple of those things that if you are in a relationship where you can't trust them and they don't respect you, right? If you have that going on, then you need to really rethink it, because you are in a battle zone. Really, you're in a battle zone. And I remember thinking one time when I started dating somebody right after I broke up with my husband, right? And there was a year gap in which it was, there was nothing going on. I waited a year before I went out on dates. And I started dating someone new, and I kept feeling like there was something really adversarial going on, like he was trying to prove something. And so I finally asked him about it. He goes, "Well, you're always telling me what to do." And I said, "What?" And I said, "Well, name one thing I asked of you." And he sat there and he started thinking. I said, "Well, I think it's your perception. But it's not me, because I don't remember ever requesting," because we were just starting to go out, right? And and I started thinking about, like, why did he say that? It must have been in other relationships, and he must have been, like in this relationship with a very demanding wife. And I'm a very undemanding person. And so I couldn't, because I'm self-sufficient, right? I have my own income. I had my own home. I supplied myself with everything. All I wanted was companionship and love and kindness and support and, some hugs and things like that. And I didn't need a man for any other reason. And so it was kind of interesting that I'm watching when the reaction of someone else, like, why was this adversarial thing being set up? Like, and I didn't want to be in a relationship like that. So if you feel like that, then you really need to start evaluating whether you want to go on with that person, or whether there's something that can be done to help alleviate the problem, because it may be a trigger and you're not aware of it and they're not aware of it, may be a trigger. So these are my two favorite core values for relationships. You have to be able to trust the other person. They need to be respecting you. And I know that a lot of women, because we grew up, I was just mentioning this with my sister yesterday. We grew up with being kind of like the slaves of the household. The women had to do the serving and do what's told and everything. So we fall into those habits. And it's taken a lifetime to grow out of those habits, and to have people, to have the requirement that your wishes are respected, you are respected, your boundaries are respected. And basically that's it. So I hope that was really helpful for you. And I'm doing a new program in relationships. It's a lot more comprehensive. It's a 10-part program. It's all been recorded, and I am going to be advertising for it. So I do have a small, brief, free relationship healing that you can get at scientifichealer.com/relationship. And what that does is it clears up all of that interpersonal energy that's going on, because a lot of relationships has to do with the flow of energy. Each and every relationship you will ever have, let's say, whether it's partnerships, whether it's, man, woman, man, doesn't matter. Woman, doesn't matter. Whatever partnership, when you enter into a new relationship with someone new, especially a very close and intimate one, it is going to be different every single time, because the energy flow between two people will never be the same. And so what you don't want to have is don't want to carry your old relationship energy with you forward into new relationships. So what that does is it clears that all up, and it does it in a matter of minutes, not years of talk therapy. And the new program that's coming out is actually is way more comprehensive. It's a lot deeper, and it teaches you how to do those things so you can maintain your own thing. I'm all for empowerment. I don't want to be the guru. I want to be the teacher that empowers you to take care of your own business. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up or 5-star rating, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next episode.